Yes.
All right, welcome. We are here with Joe Bardi.
Hi.
Hambone.
Gravy.
Love it. Gravy.
Hambone?
No, gravy.
Why isn't it Hambone?
Because it's ham gravy.
It's ham gravy.
Your
Why
last
isn't it-
name is Carbone.
But,
No.
wow. I never even thought about that.
No, that's my bad.
No,
All right.
no.
Right. All right. So we're going to talk about superhero costumes.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about how good or crappy the movie may be. We're specifically discussing costumes. Now we're going to start with this summer. Start with Green Lantern. Joe, go.
Okay. Sucked as bad as the movie.
Oh, the costume did really?
Costume looked animated. Costume looked drawn on. Normally I like green. I'm usually a big fan
Really?
of green. Yes, I like green.
But it was organic, though. It was supposed to, unlike a costume that you buy and put on or make,
Yeah.
a la Spider-Man,
Right.
it was organic. So when didn't he call it up and it popped up?
You're like representing the Industrial Light and Magic line here. You're like, no, wait, let me. It's
I'm
organic.
saying-
Oh,
That's why it
he
looked
does
like
have-
shit.
Saying
He does
that
have a point that
It wasn't a store-bought or
it's not
a man-made.
it's not a
costume.
physical costume.
It
It's
didn't come from
light
Harrods
show.
of London
Right.
or anything. It was just
He
that.
could have added glasses to it, you know.
He
It's
had
whatever the ring
Morgan
wants.
Freeman in a basement making
Let
it.
me put it this way: he's a character who whatever he thinks of, he can make materialize. That was the best he could do.
Including the costume? Oh, the costume was like a built-in.
I mean, don't you, if anything he thinks of, he can make materialize in.
Yeah, but all those...
Is that
all
why
those
is that ripped?
Green Lanterns?
Yes.
Yes.
All the Green
Yes.
Lanterns had the same costume.
I
It
think
was a
there's-
uniform. It was a uniform. I think what we need to differentiate here is between uniform and costume.
All right. Yeah.
Costume
They are
is
cops.
costume is a flamboyance,
Yes.
a Halloween
Yes, it's true.
adornment,
Nice.
a
accoutrement.
Yes.
yeah a uniform is something you do to blend into the
Well, you wear to go to work, and it gives the appearance of authority.
yes.
Nothing
Yes,
says
fair enough.
authority
Like
like
green.
green spandex with a ring on your chest.
It's a lantern
A-
on your
Whatever.
chest.
Whatever.
A emblem
Right.
on your
all right.
chest.
All right.
Emblem.
Okay.
Fair
So didn't
Um,
like it.
Like
Like
sort of like that.
ambivalent. All right. X-Men First Class. Go.
Loved them.
Yeah.
Uniforms.
Yeah,
Uniforms.
I
Fair
will
enough.
say with the X-Men, I was glad to see, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I was glad to see that the old yellow from the comic book
Yes.
showed back up.
Yes,
I made
yes,
a
yes.
very conscious decision to get rid of all of that, even making jokes in the Bryan Singer first
Sure.
movie.
Yeah.
But yellow spandex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about yellow spandex, because they just thought it couldn't fly, it wouldn't fly, and so, but because the movie was a period piece, somehow it worked, and they were able to use the old costumes again, and that was good. I think people wanted to see those costumes anyway.
Uniforms.
In this case, really uniforms. They are in school and all.
Yeah.
Couldn't you
totally.
argue that January Jones was a costume? Because she was not in uniform. She was just in. Well, I think she just wears that all the time. Really, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't even know if that's a costume.
I
I
think
think
like
she
an
actually
evening-
changes out of that.
Like
I
an
think you
evening
blow my
gown.
mind.
Yeah.
I don't really know that I have an answer for that.
Nor did
Yeah.
Sebastian Shaw. He had like a suit.
70s kind of
Yeah, like a leisure
thing.
suit. I don't know.
Does that mean he was ahead of his time because he was wearing the 70s kind of thing? And the 60s?
I think so. I
Well,
think
they were
so.
Subtle.
costumier than.
Couldn't you make that argument about the era? Were the 60s just all
Yeah.
costumes?
I guess
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
they were.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
So, but
Oh.
back to
Oh.
Bryan Singer, the leather.
Yes.
it was ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it was.
I liked it.
It was very, it was very late 90s.
I think this was one of the
Matrix-y.
first forays in going into these superhero films. I think they were scared to. They wanted to dip their toe in the water and not jump in and have everybody in their aforementioned uniforms or their costumes. Because in comic books,
I love this line you've made.
comic books,
It's a
everybody
subtle
had a different
line, though.
costume in the X-Men.
That-
Wolverine
yes.
had his brown and
That's right,
weird
yes.
costume,
Right.
or yellow and blue, but then he went to brown
It's
and
just
orange.
like the Han Solo
Yeah.
thing where he's like in blue and red, and then miraculously in the third movie it's brown and gold.
Yeah,
But they needed more of an
Yes.
earth tone for the moon, you know.
Right,
he wouldn't
right.
have matched anything.
But
Fair,
they
fair.
all had crazy costumes. Like Colossus had a crazy costume, and they had these costumes. But then if you bring back to uniforms, but I think they were scared to start with flamboyant uniforms,
But-
flamboyant costumes in the Bryan Singer ones because it was
Yeah.
kind of first
Well,
go around.
I just think they thought that the yellow was going to fly.
Yeah.
Even isn't it the early? And I could be wrong on this, and feel free to jump down my throat for it. In the early comic books, didn't they all have that kind of boring like Beast wasn't even blue? He just had that kind of like one over. Like they all had
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
crappy outfit.
Yeah, that looks stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they had to protect their identity with a
Yeah.
mask too.
Right,
That's
right.
another thing too. Green Lantern had a mask. None of the new X-Men had masks.
It's almost as if the people who were creating that book were more concerned with things like character and plot than with what they were wearing.
No.
But let's move on to Thor.
Yeah. Oh, I like Thor.
I hated it.
I hate Thor. I hate. It's a dude in a suit
The
of armor with a cape.
costume, the costume or the character? Costume.
I
know
more
it's hard.
costume. I know we're not commenting on the character.
We're
so
not
I'll
commenting
leave.
on the characters.
Normally I'm down on all kinds of gods. So
Right,
but,
right. I agree.
I'm just saying.
Wow,
polished.
that didn't
It
get
was
heavy
so-
at all.
No.
It was so polished and.
The dude's
But
a
it's
Dale.
metal,
What
you
did
know.
you expect?
I know. I don't know.
I
I
would've-
wouldn't like it.
I would have expected. I don't know. I liked it in the sense that I just like that kind of style. Like I like that Norse
Yeah.
Viking.
I would have
kind of-
liked to see with
badasses.
Anthony Hopkins and like a young child Thor, where he teaches him to shine the armor and put a nice buff on there. You know,
Spit shine.
little spit shine. That where does he buy whatever
But his
armor cream?
his
he
armor
uses?
was like a
It's not armor
burnish
cream.
a burnish
Not
metal.
armor
It was like
cream?
a,
No, no, it's
it was
actually
like
the
a
blood of
flat,
innocence.
a flat metal,
Are
a
you-
stainless steel metal.
Oh, it's more of
Not
a matte,
a
more of a
matte-
matte finish.
matte-
Yeah,
matte finish on
yeah,
his
yeah.
armor, as
Nice.
opposed to a.
It's
Less
the,
reflective.
It's the rat rod of God armor.
Yeah.
All right, Captain America.
Couldn't get enough.
Yeah,
My favorite costume and or uniform of all time.
Is that right?
So
And
is it a
just-
costume or a uniform?
Costume.
Because it's.
Could it have been a costume that became a uniform?
Mm.
If it were a uniform, he would be dressed like a regular soldier. He was a different soldier, a super soldier, if you will.
He
and
was
it
a super soldier.
and it
What if
was
they
a
made more super soldiers? Would they wear the same thing? Let's say, did Bucky wear something similar?
This is a good question.
I don't know.
Wouldn't that make it a
Why
uniform?
would they want to make more super soldiers? Really?
It was utilitarian too, and it wasn't skin tight.
Isn't one
It was,
enough?
yeah, one is enough. I think, and also it wasn't skin tight. It was kind of loose for physicality.
Right. Oh, it breathes.
Yeah.
It's made by Hanes.
I loved it.
Michael Jordan was
Michael
involved
Jordan.
somehow.
If you think though, when he was selling war bonds in the film, he was in
Right.
costume,
Right.
and then he went into this and more utilitarian costume. He still had aspects and elements of the initial costume.
Sure.
But he felt like an asshole and selling war bonds in that uniform,
Yes,
those pajamas, if you will.
Yeah.
Now he feels like he can fight crime.
Yes.
Or
Well,
fight the
Red
Nazis.
Skull
Nazis.
Nazis. Yeah.
So I was perfectly for it.
Wow.
I'm
All
an
right.
advocate of this costume.
I
my
just,
favorite
I just
costume.
want to point out though, they went with the muted colors, kind of
Yeah.
almost more of an earth tony, red, white, and blue.
Yes.
Which very
Subdued.
much au courant, very much of the day, right? You know, America fading a little bit.
Yeah,
Well,
or-
or it could be because you don't want a big shiny guy on the battlefield. That's kind of a
I don't know.
shoot me
it's
here.
working for Thor.
Yeah.
Well, he is a
He
god.
is a god.
Yeah.
He
That-
is a
that
god.
It
is
was
true.
subdued. It was
There's a
subdued.
certain amount of panache.
And I
that
will
goes
say
with-
the X-Men are also pretty able to spot from a few miles
Right,
out,
right.
And his-
flying and moving metal around while wearing yellow.
They are inherently some blue.
And he had
Yeah,
a
that's-
helmet.
that's
And
true.
he had a helmet on, which was I'm looking at the picture of. I
Yeah.
keep referring to my
Oh,
phone.
yeah. Well,
The helmet was
That's
important.
yeah.
That's true.
You know.
The helmet wasn't. Yeah, you don't want to just wear a helmet. They're bulky. You want it to
Yeah.
be, have a use and
Be
be
the
important.
helmet.
It didn't have like wings sticking out too. I fear.
You want those to be functional. So,
I
you know.
fear.
All right. The Avengers. Have you seen the big Avengers
Yes. Yeah.
thing?
Yes.
What'd you think?
My fear.
Does it work together?
Oh,
I think that's the question for the whole movie, really.
Well,
Will
but we're
it
not
work
talking about the
together?
movie.
No, I
We're talking
know.
about the costumes.
We're just talking about the
I
fashion.
fear that Captain America
fashion.
now he'll be polished and sissified.
Sissified.
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not.
Bold.
I'm not.
Bold.
I will.
Is that sissy or Sisyphus? Is he pushing a rock up a hill constantly, or
Yeah.
just
Yes.
kind of me?
I wash my hands of Captain America.
Wow.
Wow. But
Wow.
it's a time period thing, right?
So would you argue that any of so you're saying that the costumes that you've liked were set 30 and 50 or 60 years ago.
Yeah.
So anything in this modern era is just going to be crap.
It's gonna be horrible.
So really, what
Wow.
you would like some kind of Mad Men X-Men, like mashup,
January Jones.
which actually is what we got, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah, that's pretty much what that was.
She can't act out of that period.
A utilitarian.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can just
I
let
said
that
it.
period.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
A utilitarian costume. I appreciate utility.
yes.
You know,
Right.
like
So you
like
really like Batman?
Because he has a whole belt.
It's an
He's got
armor.
an entire concept.
It's an armor.
It is an armor.
It's an
That's fair.
armor. It's more like a urban armor. So is it? It's a costume or a uniform. It's definitely armor. I think it leaves costume and uniform behind. I think it's a
Alright.
whole new genre of workwear.
All right, so
Costiform.
segueing into the Batman, we have next summer's
but
coming up.
Joe didn't comment on the Avengers.
On the event.
Yeah, Joe didn't comment on the Avengers. So segueing on to
Yeah.
Let's leave him behind.
That's nice.
But I do want to say this:
Okay.
Iron Man armor, not a costume. Does he jive with the rest of the uniforms? Sure, but this
he did make all of them.
Captain America, I'm a front. I don't like, and I even
The new one.
the new Captain America,
Okay.
and the new or whatever we anticipate for Hawkeye. I
Right.
fear the most.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one.
It's gonna be horrible.
Now,
horrible.
would you prefer like an update like what they did with Bullseye? Now, granted,
I know.
yeah.
Bring it up,
but, but you know, like Bullseye in the comic has that kind of like really like
Ridiculous.
costume. Now, did you
Ridiculous.
would you prefer something like that for Hawkeye?
I don't know.
Wait, now this
I
is
don't
a
know.
MASH spinoff? Hawkeye?
It is Hawkeye.
Sorry.
It is.
Sorry. All right, moving on to next summer.
Next
past
summer.
the Avengers. Because
Okay.
I like to talk about Batman.
Okay, so
Yes.
they just dropped 2 of the costume,
Yeah.
you know, previews, if you will. You got Bane and Catwoman. What did
Right.
you think of Bane?
Loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah, fine. And here's let me give you a little history, and I'll be very brief. Batman's armor, but if you think of all the other in the new Christopher Nolan films,
Sure.
they are like homemade, homogenized costumes.
Right.
So Joker just kind of put on any flamboyant thing.
He had custom made
Custom-made
threads. That's
Custom
right.
made, but they were of his flamboyance to match his
Yes.
crazy hair and his crazy makeup. So
Right.
he kind of codified his own look. Catwoman appears as doing the same.
Right.
So it's not like cat-esque. She's not wearing a tail.
It
or
seems like she's
something.
trying to just look like Batman. She even has his motorcycle.
Maybe that's what they're going for. Like, she's like a copycat type of thing. But here's my problem with the Christopher Nolan one. And this is my one beef, and it has to do with costume. That Two-Face costume. Like, he's
Oh,
Two-Faced,
yeah,
and
sure.
then all of a sudden, he has a half suit. Like,
Well,
you know,
the
he
suit got burned.
But it doesn't turn into like this nice purpley type of thing, and one's like white on the like. Suits just don't like if you're grounding the thing in realism, like a perfectly half burnt or half suit, like that takes time to make. Like I was there and I was with it up until that point. Like he's Two-Face, you know, half the face is burnt in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe.
And then he has his own costume and his own like little haha, I'm Two-Face now. I didn't buy that. I didn't, and the costume was the thing that broke it for me. If they just torched half a suit, I would buy it.
I
But
didn't
was
even
like
acknowledge it as a
tailored
costume.
It was a tailored thing.
You're talking about one or two scenes, though.
Well, the scenes where he's Two-Face, where he's like Two-Face.
Where he goes
the
to the-
long
where he goes
last
to the
30 minutes of
bar.
that movie that
Right.
no one really liked.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That is the best movie that has a long stretch that no one really liked.
Yeah.
But it,
Yeah,
it-
all right, I'll buy that. Yeah,
Um,
it's just unexplained and kind of...
Right. So now, for me, I liked the Bane, but and I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. But I liked the Batman Forever Bane. I
People
liked that
I-
Bane.
please don't turn off. Don't turn off the recording.
I like
Stay
that
with
Bane.
us for a second.
I liked that Bane. I mean, it's overly cartoonish.
It
And
is
then he grunted.
Right.
Yeah,
Is,
he had
but
tubes.
is that what he?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that what he
Yeah.
does?
I
Isn't
don't-
that what
I don't
Bane
know
does?
the
I mean, do
character.
you want this long villain soliloquy from Bane, or do you just want him?
Well,
to...
I assume that
Now
if he talks, it's just, you go,
Right.
What is this costume? A leotard and a
No.
Hannibal
It's
Lecter?
it's a fat wrestler.
I should,
Yeah.
you know, we've only seen the only official
Think
Bane
Earthquake.
photo is that one from behind,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But we've all seen the. I mean, I'm sure everyone here has watched them fighting on the steps of City
Right,
Hall
right,
or whatever,
right. That's pretty
and you
cool.
can't really tell what it's going to look like in the movie from that because you're seeing the whole costume and who knows what they're actually
This
shooting.
is daylight.
And yeah, so yada yada
Everything's
yada.
dark and everything's at night.
That said, I think putting shit over people's mouths kind of creepy in the movie. So he's gonna have, you know, I'm hoping that he gets some blue velvet lines too, so he can take that shit off. Catwoman, not enough cleavage. That's all I'm gonna. No, I'm kidding. I just thought she looked exactly like Batman. So if in,
But she-
if they're gonna
But
be like,
she is Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
It's being billed as Selena Kyle, which is a cat burglar who would be like a high tech type of
Yes.
thing. Like I
The
can
whole
see the
cat-
argument for it.
Yeah.
The whole Halle Berry, Michelle
So
Pfeiffer with her
what
cat
we're- so
feline.
yeah, so what we're saying is they will have
Fuck.
eliminated all of the cat in Catwoman here is just going to be cat burglar.
Yeah.
They're gonna eliminate
Right.
all
Or
of the
now,
cat shit.
they may-
I pray.
No cat shit. no
I
pun
pray
intended.
they do it
Yeah.
that way, and she's
Really?
not like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that whole Eartha Kitt.
Dude, the Michelle Pfeiffer, I don't care. I'm into it. I would watch that movie 10 times out of 10 just for that.
I like that movie.
I was
a good movie.
She was embarrassed.
She licked herself.
It's another one though that like has a 30-minute sequence. She licked herself.
She licked herself.
I was embarrassed for her.
Really?
Really?
It was like,
well, I can be embarrassed.
I had several emotions when watching that movie. Embarrassment.
I
thought
not
one of them.
Well,
like
maybe later.
Was that Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt, and they're purring and talking all crazy like.
Yeah, that's a little over the top, but that's
It's
the
the same
60s, and it was a uniform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. That's true.
I'll buy that.
All right, so Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
So Dodgeball is going to come out. Have you seen this costume? It looks like an elementary school
Oh, he's a
dodgeball.
dodgeball. I was like, dodgeball?
Yeah,
How
the
is,
dude looks like
how are the
dodgeball.
average Joes involved?
What are we talking about?
Spider-Man.
costume. Have
I
you seen the
think
Spider-Man costume?
What was it? Dodgeball.
It looks like a dodgeball, is what he's saying.
A
I think
dodgeball.
both Spider-Man and Superman, the new Superman costume, look pretty much just like they always
Well,
look.
here's what I appreciate about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. When he was becoming Spider-Man, it just jumped. He was drawing the costumes in his bedroom,
Right.
and then all of a sudden he had a costume. It didn't explain how he got it, which
He
is
made it, didn't he? He had, in addition to the radioactive Spider-Man providing him with strength and extra hearing, he also got like design skills.
He did. He came up
So
with logo
involved.
concepts.
He was able to
and
make his
things.
own knitting yarn, you know.
He is a
His-
photographer. He does have some kind of visual concept.
Yeah.
But they just jumped right into now he's He's got a costume because the homemade one he made in the Sam Raimi one was when he went to wrestle, and then it was like made of Nikes and
Yes.
sweatpants. Then
Right.
he drew one, and then he was Spider-Man. So
Right.
they just jumped right over, which was appreciated. They just
Yeah.
show him in his room.
Yeah.
But in the trailer of this new Spider-Man film, they show him in his room sewing.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right.
And
That's right,
and if
because-
you look at this costume, it's very detailed and has raised webbing on it. You're gonna fucking sew that in your bedroom.
Yes. And he apparently he builds his web shooters.
Right,
now. They're going the same shit's going
I'm
to happen
not
in
into
Superman
that.
2.
I'm not
What
into
they've
that.
done is they're going to take the idea, like you just said, that Batman was somehow rooted in reality, which I think we can all agree it really isn't. And since we've all seen photos of the Lazarus Pit, we're
Yeah.
leaving reality very quickly
Yes.
as we move into
What are we talking about?
in the Dark Knight Rises. There have been shots of like supposedly the Lazarus Pit.
What's the last
I don't know if it's the Lazarus Pit or it's just a green
Ta-
screen
Ta-
thing
Talia,
too. That's the other question.
Ra's al Ghul.
That it, yeah. So
Yeah.
the only reason I know about this is
But-
actually from
yeah.
Lost, because remember there were comparisons of the gold shimmery light in the thing to the Lazarus Pit, which in Batman was a thing that would bring you back to life.
Yeah.
Well, Lazarus. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
Right.
Resurrected Lazarus.
I suppose that it is realistic if you buy the Jesus Lazarus story literally, then this does fit the. But no,
That's two. That's
Yeah,
two
yeah.
for you. That's not bad.
I'm on a roll.
You
I'm on a roll.
are. You are.
Atheist.
Yeah, I'm on an atheist roll. We believe in superheroes now. I want to throw this out too, just real quick, because I'm sure we're going to run out of time here. At Mindy Solomon Gallery, starting like August 9th, is a thing called Heroes. Oh crap! I forgot the name of it.
Way
But
to
it's an
throw it out
entire.
there.
I know it's an entire show dedicated to a dude who makes superhero costumes, but
What?
he's knitted them. He's knitted the
What?
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
They breathe.
Yes, they breathe more.
No
But
kidding.
it's a whole
So
show at Mindy
crochet.
Gallery Mindy Solomon starting on the 9th.
That's sick.
So if you're into this conversation, you should probably check that out.
Totally.
Unsung Heroes Unsung. That's not it. I can't remember what the hell it is
But
now.
Spider-Man, did you like the costume?
I think it looks the same as the other costume.
It's a lot more blue. Thank
I
you.
gotta let me tell you. This is the dividing line for me. Like where you start to notice that much detail, I fall back. I can't do it. It feels to me like in the last, say, 10 years, the costumes became much more important. I blame Iron Man, to tell you the honest truth. That's an entire movie about the costume. Like,
Yeah.
it's not so
Yeah.
much before Iron Man. And I realize comic book chronology is different, but movie-wise,
What?
before Iron Man, the movies, the costumes were important, but they weren't like the all-encompassing focal thing of like
You're
the
right.
early releases
You're
and everything.
absolutely
Iron Man was an entire movie about the suit. It
You're
Well,
wasn't.
he is the costume. Like,
He
you
is
put
the-
anybody in it.
It's not interchangeable. So
There is
Just
anticipation.
find a sober person and put them in the costume.
and
You have a
Hollywood
better
always
Iron Man.
chases what works, and so superhero movies now are all some combination of Iron Man and The Dark Knight, and they're just going to keep fusing these together, trying to make new movies
The
that work.
anticipation is
Sure.
what the costume looks like. Superman costume revealed on IMDb,
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
these emails I got
Right.
was Superman costume revealed.
Yeah, and it was a misty photo with like
It-
a drawn-in background.
It's nonetheless that everybody's waiting to see what
Right.
he's gonna
Yeah.
look like, what he's gonna look like as so and so. So I can understand You know?
Like, this is the peak. Enjoy this while it lasts, because the whole superhero thing after next summer
It's gonna be 3D.
No, it's gonna
No,
have
it's
to go
going to
away.
be the 3D.
No, it's gonna
of things.
start. The grosses are gonna start to decline. It's all gonna start to fade.
And then Ant-Man comes
The
out.
kids.
Yeah.
And then what comes out?
Ant-Man.
And what is Ant-Man?
Ant-Man. You don't know what Ant-Man? Oh.
Marvel.
Ant-Man. Ant-Man
Ant-Man.
is one of the 4 horsemen of the superhero apocalypse, riding in to tell you that the superhero
it's
thing is
done.
over.
It's so
It's
over.
over.
Hawkman.
I want to see the
Ant-Man. He's
Ant-Man.
an Avenger.
I'm
man.
super excited.
Ant-Man.
Hey, super excited
Oh.
about Dark Knight Rises. Would watch anything Nolan made. No one could shoot like fucking footage in his own bathroom. I'd
He
watch
could.
it.
What if he makes
Um,
Ant-Man?
I won't see it.
Oh, there you go.
Avengers, totally really curious to see it. All those characters kind of feels like it's a raising of the bar sort of thing.
Yeah.
If that works, then
Justice League of America.
what is it? They're going to do the whole what is it? The DC version,
Justice League.
Justice
which will
League,
be
yeah.
Superman and Batman and
Wonder Woman,
and then-
Aquaman.
So that's going to be there, and they're going to, and you're going
Martian
to be
Manhunter.
like, it's just like the Avengers movie.
God.
If they, it's a question of can they make it work with all those characters? We'll see. But those two are interesting. But there's Spider-Man reboot. You've got Batman next summer. You have Superman after that. You have the Avengers. Their Iron Man 3 is in production. They're going to make another
Jesus.
Thor. There's
Yeah.
going to be another Captain America.
Ant-Man.
Green Lantern 2
No.
is in production.
No.
Green Lantern 2.
Oh,
the
the
Flash.
Flash.
Oh, who need that? The TV show, man. Just go watch those TV show episodes. That's all you need.
I did enjoy those.
Yeah, that was
I
good
was,
TV
I was
for that
12
for
when
the
they
day.
came out, too.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
He's on the
Fucking
treadmill powering the entire lab with his
Yeah,
Oh,
come on.
It's terrible.
TV used to
I'm
be
telling
so
you,
good.
eventually, Flash Gordon remake with the music of Queen. It's
Oh,
gonna happen.
I'm in.
No.
Nice.
Anyway, all right,
All right, we're done.
Say goodbye.
We gotta go.
Bye.
Ham-bone.
Gravy.
I'm gonna say ham-bone.
All right,
Okay.
we have to redo it.
No, we don't. Okay. Ham-bone. It makes more sense to me.
right.
Ham gravy, Joe Bardi, Dave Russell. We're done. Thanks.
See.
Peace.